Hi, I'm Doug McKenzie and welcome to another episode of The FinTech Show. In this episode, we're investigating how institutions can adapt to the very way people do business in the digital ecosystem. We get insight from the people who are innovating and breaking down this challenge to help their customers. So first up, Leah Jacobiak met Shams Hadi, co-founder and CEO of ZoroSign over in Las Vegas. He told us how they've revolutionized the industry, with one of their co-founders being the author of the e-signature patent.
Shams, thank you so much for joining us here in Vegas. I want to talk about ZoroSign, find out more what it's about. Can you just give me a snapshot of what you do?
Great, thank you so much for having me in Vegas. So basically our core business for ZoroSign is multifold, but it is in electronic signature and digital signature. It is into managing user identities and document management,
right,
as well as using blockchain technology to ensure everything is secure and transacted safely.
And what is it that sets ZoroSign apart from any other companies out there?
So we basically have 5 different components that set us apart. First being, we use the real patented electronic signature. So my other co-founder of the company, he is the author of the e-signature patent back in 1995. And he worked with then President Bill Clinton to have it, the Electronic Signature Act signed into law in the year 2000. So we use the real deal. Everyone else uses a digital copy of your signature. The second thing is that with our private blockchain technology, we have our forensics token. That is where we capture the audit trail. So what happened to the document, what date, what time, what device, what user. We also capture the final executed version of the document, its attachments, and anything else that is linked to it. The third component is our workflow builder. From simple to complex workflows, we provide that ease of use and customability for our customers to design it the way that their business works. The fourth is our workflow engine, so that basically allows you to go completely paperless, being digital. And finally, we have ZoroFill, which is our AI and ML based auto e-fill solution to help process and handle your forms.
And how did you realize that there was a need for this in the market?
So back in 2015, when the company was founded, I'm one of the co-founders, we found a major gap in the electronic signature space. Firstly being electronic signature being just a copy, a digital copy of your signature. So there is very little or lack of security and convincing people that it is actually my signature. Secondly, being upheld in court. That was also another thing that we wanted to ensure that we took care of. So people would actually know that it was me who signed that document and nobody else. So those are 2 big areas that we wanted to ensure. And finally, when we're actually transacting with people, is it really that person that we're transacting on the other end? Because normally we transact by email or by phone, which is text or chat or anything else. So is it really that human being on the other side?
I headed to Madrid to speak with Derek White, the Global Head of Client Solutions at BBVA, who gave us his wisdom about how technology is changing the very way people and banks interact with each other.
Traditional bankers are having their minds blown, but in companies like BBVA, where we are user-centered technologists creating the future of an industry, it's a playground. It's incredibly exciting to see how these new technologies are changing the future of industries, entirely eliminating industries and verticals, as well as creating new customer behaviors. So things like biometrics, like wearables, like IoT, humans are interacting with a computer without touching that computer through a voice-enabled device, whether it's Google, Facebook, or Amazon's devices, or the Chinese devices. It's fascinating to see how a person is interacting with a computer by simply speaking to it and engaging in ways like they've never done before. There are companies now around the world that have over 300 million IoT devices that are reading and sensing information every single day. The sheer amounts of data that are gathered by micro interactions are incredibly powerful to predict how we will be interacting in the future and feeds into the product and creation engine for our future. So we're actively engaged with all the big tech companies. We're actively engaged with fintechs and exploring these new technologies but not just to understand the technologies and the impact that those technologies are having, not just to understand the power of the data that comes out, but to define and create the use cases that will change the way people interact with money. That's super exciting.
Over in London, we speak with Ebru Pakjan, Head of Treasury and Trade Solutions at Citibank, who let us know about some of the incredible movements that they're doing when it comes to implementing these digital technologies, all to help their customers out.
Electronic signatures, e-signatures, or the use of those in digital onboarding tools is actually, quite simple technology, but it is very, very powerful, and I think in many ways it's going to be a great evolution and in some ways revolution of the banking activities and financial services activities with our corporate clients. Why is that? Traditionally, considering all the regulations and requirements and taxation and all the other bits and pieces that goes with banking or financial services activities, there's a lot of paper and documentation that gets created between the customer and the bank in terms of being able to run the transactional activity. This ranges from all types of authorized signatory type of documentation to actual wet signatures, which is put on lots of different paper, for trade activity, export-import related documentation, documents that needs to be submitted to various authorities, and of course a lot of different agreements, etc., that needs to go backwards and forwards. Now all of that creates a huge amount of paper, and not only paper in the actual workflow, but paper that actually needs to be stored and to be accessed from time to time to be able to do things with it. So this has been a very, very painful thing for all of our customers. And if there is one thing that probably all banking customers would be complaining around the world, it would be around account opening processes, documentation processes, and of course all the signature or sign-off processes that go with these. So where we can apply, whether it's the electronic signature or any other forms of digitization and workflow tools that we can bring, leveraging also any utilities or maybe cloud-based documentation or onboarding tools that customers can access and provide that information and connectivity to the bank. There is a huge amount of benefits, purely and mainly from an efficiency perspective. But efficiency means time, and time means money. So in the end, for our customers, it is a lot of convenience, but it is also going to be a lot of efficiency and cost saving.
Tell us about your onboarding process. How have you made that so easy for your customers?
So the customer is our primary focus. So we basically broke it down into three things. First being learning how they research, buy, and onboard themselves. So that was it's a very scientific method as well, trying to see what is the way that they would like to see the product being positioned,
Sure.
both on the website and the way that they onboard themselves with help and support portals and agents ready to support them at any time. The second part of the customer experience that we look at is actually how they use it. So we spend a lot of time speaking to them, working with them, understanding their business, understanding their needs, and then basically building out our solution or improving our solution based on the experience that they're expecting. And finally, using sales and service and support, we ensure that when they call, because they call when it's business critical or mission critical tasks or processes that they need to handle right there on the spot at that time. So our support team is always available, and we have one of the fastest turnarounds in the industry today in terms of providing support to our customers.
Dan van Aschoff, the product manager at Rabobank eBusiness, tells me how important technologies like e-signatures are when helping the security of customers and the bank. So, can you tell me, what are Rabobank really doing when it comes to digital onboarding and moving into a digital platform?
Well, we've identified this as an opportunity for us as a bank, because we are facing different challenges on customer behavior and new competitors and new regulations to meet. And we find it a way to collaborate with a partner instead of make or buy a new service ourselves. And we can enter a new market in a much faster way. And we could offer new services to new customers. So it's some sort of adds up to be in this market, and it also fits in our strategy of being an open bank to face future challenges the next few years.
Having a digital identity is becoming increasingly important when it comes to something like payments, not just onboarding, people handing over digital signatures. Where do you see that going in the future, and will the bank be a part of that?
Yeah, well, if we know a lot of our customers already, and if we can make it work in a safe way to reuse that digital identity, and on top add services like digital signing or make the connection to the payment world, you will be relevant to more government-like services, but also in the e-commerce world you can add new services and help our customers out.
With SMEs being the real backbone to the European economy, what are BBVA doing to really improve not only the customer experience, but maybe even the payment experience for these enterprises?
SMEs do provide the lifeblood of any economy, as we work with markets all over the world. And designing products and services that are truly tailored for an SME is the bridge between the two big sides of our business, which is the individual making decisions about their own money or an individual making decisions about their company's money. Similar principles apply for the designing of products and services in the enterprise side with the SMEs as it does on the consumer side of the business, and is taking those same principles in application into helping SMEs make decisions about their money. What we see as we work with our clients, both SMEs and large corporates across the board, the same principles apply for building a digital business. And the principles are simply, first off, making every product and service available so that it can be done DIY above the glass by the customer. The future operating model for any company, regardless of industry, regardless of vertical, regardless of the size of the company, is one human above the glass making decisions about their money. And that is the customer or it is the user. It's then, secondly, it is making those experiences, once they are DIY-able and truly available above the glass for the person to do, it's then making them smart and leveraging the data that the company has and wrapping every interaction with data to help the customer make decisions and the customer be able to buy a product, to finance a product, to participate in a marketplace, to post interactions, whatever it might be. It's leveraging that interaction to make every single one of those DIY-able interactions smart. And then as you start to make them smart, it's then starting to make them autonomous or self-driven, to a point where customers don't even have to make decisions about their money, make decisions about whether to buy something, because there are rules that are defined by the user themselves in an environment that is safe, that they trust implicitly, that they're willing to hand over those decisions into an autonomous driving account.
What is it that makes ZoroSign unique?
We are the only ones in the market that are running a blockchain technology today. None of our competitors are doing it. I know some of them have announced that they may be interested in or trying to implement it, but we have been first to market, and people that are very serious about ensuring that their documents need to be safe and legally binding and accepted in the court of law are coming to us because of our electronic signature patent and the technology we use behind that, because we use blockchain.
I really think blockchain and people thinking about blockchain, people trying to innovate on blockchain, trying to do something for the first time on blockchain, has in fact been very, very helpful for financial services, broadly speaking, to bring that innovation impetus and mindset to an industry which hasn't been necessarily so driven to be innovative in the past.
We are the only solution out there that can verify and validate both digital and printed versions of your electronically signed documents.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you on the next episode of The FinTech Show.